Hi, Veronica. So we're here on this call to ask you about your experience with my Heart Virtues coaching session that you had a few months ago to unlock your heart virtue. And I believe your heart virtue is the playful magic of connecting all worlds, right? Awesome. So, what did you what did you like best about working with me?
Um, I think that what you do is something everyone needs. And especially people, I think there's a lot of people that are on their path that get that message and it's more of a confirmation. And
Yeah,
I think for me, um, but I think there's a lot of people that are lost that need that message that's so uplifting and makes them feel so loved and important and necessary. And I think there's so many people that don't feel that way that unlocking that heart virtue would connect them with.
yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, and to also backtrack, your heart virtue is the unique energy signature of your heart. It's what you're born to be. It's the your deepest value that you value so much that is so deeply meaningful to you that every time you experience it or express it, you're literally moved to tears of joy and you have these goosebumps. And it's also something that you're even willing to die for.
Hmm.
And it would be actually very empowering for everybody to actually hear you say your heart virtue by yourself as well. So, what are you committed to?
I'm committed to the playful magic of connecting all worlds.
Awesome. Doesn't that feel good to say that? Right? Yeah. Because it's the most truthful, authentic statement about yourself. Right? All right. What results have you achieved since we started working together?
Um, I think just having that awareness of something that I've always felt very passionate about isn't just a passion that it's me and it's necessary and I can't live without it. I think that reminder and that confirmation is what has been the most significant for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. And confirmation is so important because sometimes we second guess ourselves and we think, is it is it really like is it really important? Is that really what I'm supposed to do? Right? Yeah, totally. How else have you benefited from our work together?
Um, I think just aside from just the heart virtue stuff, just working with you as a person and not just in our session, but seeing, your posts on Facebook and your emails and everything like that, just who you are and the way you connect to spirit is inspiring and it kind of um, it's a good reminder to have every day if I'm frustrated and I see something uplifting that you've posted and all right, come on, get back get back
Thank you.
that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that compliment. What's the Facebook post that you like the most, or something that struck you recently?
Recently you posted something about what turns you on that's not physical or sexual, and I just liked that thought, and I liked reading, what other people had to say too. But it was an interesting thought, just that um, what we're attracted to isn't always, like I said, books. That's the most sexual thing maybe they, but it's an interesting thought that it could be something so different. So that's actually been sticking with me the last couple of days.
Totally. Yeah. Not everything has to be sexual that turns you on. And I'm just blown away by the people's responses as well. Some of them were actually pretty poetic about it too. So would you recommend me and my services? If so, why and to whom?
Yeah, I think I kind of said when we started, and is that I recommend them to people that felt lost or had a hard time finding meaning or self worth, because that's what I think the heart virtue gives you.
Yeah, and it's software that comes from inside you, going to the outside rather than outside in or other people's external validation. What was the point A where you were at and the point B, which is where I took you to?
Um, can you explain a little more?
There, it's like, well, it's like there's an island, like two islands. One island is where maybe you were confused or struggling with something, and point B is the new island, the pleasure island, right? So point A is the island of pain, and point B is the island of pleasure and your goals fulfilled, right? So, and the heart virtues process is the boat that takes you from point A to point B, but really what you actually wanted was to get to the island, right? The boat is not so important, but really the island. And so, for example, in the case of somebody who wants to manifest their soulmate, their point A might be loneliness, and their point B might be like, manifesting their soulmate, right? So that's a good example.
I think it was going from a state where I always just thought, oh, that's a funny coincidence, because I've always been very connected to fairies. And so sometimes when, or very often, I'd meet with a client and I've had them tell me, "You're a fairy, or are you a fairy energy?" And I always just thought it was a funny, like, yeah, because I love fairies. um, but ever since I had the session with you, um, I've been getting more and more confirmation, not just a coincidence, or it's not just something that I'm passionate about, that it really is who I am. My, for example, my mom went to a psychic a couple weeks ago, and the psychic told her, "You're the mother of fairies." So just like, that, I don't feel like it's just coincidence or happenstance anymore. That it's connected to who I am.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing to feel that way, right? Is there anything that you would have liked to see differently, or or was it just perfect?
Well, we didn't get to meet for very long because it was in the middle of the fair, and so I think we only spent maybe 15 or 20 minutes together.
Right.
So I would have liked to be able to discuss it more with you.
Oh, right. Yeah. Awesome. What's the most important thing that people should know about working with me?
You're very gentle and very patient, and it's very clear how much you love people.
Thank you. Yeah. And did you have any hesitations about working with me, or were you like totally comfortable?
Yeah, I didn't have any hesitations. There's a lot of people that you meet at fairs sometimes where I've been approached before to, you want to trade a session, and be like, oh. I don't believe in what you do. But you're the real thing.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. And is there anything else that you would like to add?
Just thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. And and how would you describe the actual session itself, the process that I took you through? Like, what was that like? What was your experience and what you felt?
Very natural. I don't think it didn't feel to me like there was a certain process of it, that it was unique to whoever you were working with and however spirit guided you.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this recording and this case study. Uh, Actually, I did have one more question. Like, um, how have how has your life changed during since the session? Like, did you start getting more clients that were more aligned with who you are, or like, was there like any like changes like that?
Um, no, nothing related to work. I think it's just the way I see things.
The way you see things?
Um, and maybe not that it's changed drastically. I think it's more that that reminder is there for me,
Yeah, yeah,
and having that to be conscious of every day.
yeah, totally. To remind yourself, this is what I stand for. Right, totally. Well, thank you so much for being on this call and doing this case study on the heart virtues process. I hope I hope you have a wonderful day.
You
All right, gonna stop recording.